Anora is getting a lot of buzz, and I'm really happy for Sean Baker, currently the frontrunner for Best Picture and Best Actress. If you are unfamiliar with Sean Baker, let me tell you a few things about him. He likes to make movies about the working class, the impoverished. His movies aren't plot heavy, they're human heavy. If I had one word to describe Sean Baker films, they would all be authentic. He's done movies in Texas, he's done movies in Florida, and he's done a movie now in New York. So why is this movie specifically getting all of the hype? I got a few theories. To me, this is the first time that Sean Baker has made a movie that is more plot heavy than character heavy. It's evident from the trailer alone. In the trailer alone, we see a dancer get involved with Russian oligarchs. So I got scared personally. I was like, are we gonna have to deal with like cartoonishly evil Russians? What is Sean Baker up to? I just wasn't sure if that was within Sean Baker's range. Well, the focus on the plot in this movie, I think, turned this movie into the most accessible Sean Baker film. That's why I think it's getting a lot of award buzz. Anora's fantastic. It really is. But I have a lot of problems actually that I did not think I would have coming into this movie. This movie kind of disappointed me, but that was because my expectations were super high. It's still a great film, it is. Let's get into it.
What is that? Is that a butterfly?
Yeah, it's a butterfly.
You're so classy. I know. I got dollar signs like a real hoe.
Anora is a dancer that meets the son of a Russian oligarch. His name is Ivan. The son decides to make her an exclusive girlfriend for the small price of $15,000. Feelings develop, they get married in Vegas for a green card, and boom. The parents find out and they need to stop this. They need to nullify this wedding. All of that is in the trailer, so none of that is spoiler material. But let's get into what everybody is talking about, or who everybody is talking about. Mikey Madison. Why is she the front runner for Best Actress? Well, let's start with she's bloody fantastic in this movie. I don't know what her training was to this movie, but her training is very authentic to the occupation. Her Brooklyn accent is perfect and it adds to her fiery nature. I love the way she acts when she gets all defensive. Part of the reason that Sean Baker hired her for the role was because of her eyes. She's got a very unique set of eyeballs, and Sean Baker decided to shoot this movie around the eyeballs. There are a lot of scenes where it's just zoomed in on her face and you can see all of her expressions. It adds to the whole catharsis of this film. There's a scene where she turns around in the car. It's in the trailer, and it honestly moves me just with the emotion being shown on her face, especially with the context of the film. But yeah, just an absolute fantastic performance. I think it's probably my favorite performance of the year as well. Shockingly, all of the Russians are very likable. Like, don't get me wrong, they're hateable at the same time, but there's something really endearing about all these goons. It really scared me coming into this movie having the Russian oligarchs, but Sean Baker delivered. It still feels authentic, somehow. And something I was shocked about with this movie was just how funny it was. For like an entire hour of this movie, it kind of just turns into a screwball comedy, and that's not what I was expecting. At the end of the day, the film is about removing stigma from sex workers, humanizing them, but also it's a great representation of emotional catharsis. I respect the idea that in this film, we are tackling that life cannot be solved by one decision. This one decision allows her to leave hustle culture entirely. It just seems like the perfect solution to everything. Not many people would say yes to a marriage after a week, but she weighed out all of the options in her head. It's either just get married here or keep hustling with people that don't like you. Keep lying to their faces through sex work. I know I described this movie earlier as a screwball comedy, but it is truly devastating at some other moments. There was a long portion of this film where Ivan leaves, and it's this slow realization by Anora that, man, I married the wrong guy. He's not a great guy. He just left me. I'm being essentially held hostage by these guys, and he just left me. He won't leave me any sort of messages. What the heck? And it really hurts because we really like the character of Ivan. The performance by the guy is so fantastic. He's so jovial, so joyful. It really helps materialize the romance between the two with just how likable this guy is. You just want to hang out with him. Okay, let's talk about the negatives. I was shocked I had this many negatives. It may not bother other people, but there is like an entire hour of this movie dedicated to finding Ivan. And this is where it turns into a big screwball road trip comedy. It's just kind of everybody going place to place being like, have you found this guy? Can you call this guy? It goes on for entirely too long and it really checks me out of the film. We put Anora in the back seat, literally and figuratively. She becomes a secondary character in her own movie. And once we finally find Ivan, we remember that Anora is the main character of this movie, and it takes a little bit to get the rhythm back. But eventually we get to the end, and it's one of my favorite Sean Baker endings. A slow catharsis into a very visual breakdown that I did not expect to see from Sean Baker. It's an ending I don't don't really want to spoil, and I don't even want to hint at it. It's such an emotional ending, and it really did move me. It's not my favorite Sean Baker movie. I'd give it like a 7. I still think Red Rocket is probably my favorite movie from Sean Baker. You should check that out. Don't miss it. You might not be bothered by the screwball comedy aspect of this film. It just took me a while to buy back into this film. But the highs are highs with this movie. Go check out Anora. It is bound to win a few Oscars on Oscar night if you care. I kind of care. Oscars give artists creative freedom, gives them funding. You should care. This is why I care. Goodbye.